what's up, everybody? I wasn't expecting to come on live tonight, but I don't know. I felt some type of way about today. Very frustrated, extremely frustrated, just with the people around me, the people that I work with, you know, people on the road. Let's first acknowledge some people, because I really appreciate everybody waiting and coming on. This is not a relationship therapy session. I know most people are probably very familiar with me coming on live, doing relationship therapy. This is just the Tony Talks. This is gonna be a Tony Talks, just open and very candid. So here we are. So I felt some type of way about today. I almost had like 3 accidents within like 1 minute because people are so aggressive on the road, and people don't care anymore. People don't give a fuck about other people. Felt some type of way about that. Then, I was on vacation for a little while, and of course I had the vacation blues. So I was a little frustrated about that. And of course, when you walk into work, of course, when you're the manager, everybody has excuses as to why nothing has gotten done. So, that. And, I have to be honest, as you guys know, I teach constellation mapping. Constellation mapping is the mapping of behaviors based on the constellation in which you're born. And is it real? Yes, it's real. And I turned it into constellation dating. So I date based on the constellations. Yes, I know that sounds odd. I know that sounds weird, and people cuss me out. Men hang up the phone on me. They call me all kind of names. They insult me because of the way that I have chosen to date. And the reason why I choose to date according to the constellations is because, well, one, I know it works. And I have my past relationships to reference to know that constellation dating works. I always teach people that you cannot be in a relationship with a person that you always think is attractive. There are so many beautiful black single gay men in, all across the country. Probably in Atlanta more than any other place, but all across the country. And it's like, how do you know who to choose? How do you know who to invest in? Because, relationships are an investment. I'm investing in you, and you are investing in me. And whatever burdens I come with, whatever burdens you come with, they belong to us. And we gotta, work through it, figure it out, get you out the situation. So, I date based on the constellations. And the constellations basically, when we translate it into behaviors. Behaviors, yes. Relationships are all about behaviors. How you act, how you think, how you feel, how you move in the world, how you feel about just social issues. Your nature is going to determine all of these things. And so, yes, I use the constellations to quickly establish what your nature is. There's 4 natures. You got your water natures. You got your air natures. You got your earth natures. And you have your fire natures. And not all of these natures can coexist intimately. They are all needed. They are all necessary. But when we try to put them in the same space, chances are, whatever natures we're talking about, there can be peace and tranquility, and there can be utter chaos. you know, so I date based on people's natures, the natures of men. And of course, I have my past relationships to go back and reference. And, I implore anyone that follows me, anyone that has an interest in constellation map and constellation dating, I implore you to go back into your past and you'll see a pattern. You'll see things that probably are out of just coincidence or coincidences, And I've had more favorable results when I started using constellation mapping in dating, because I realized that every man out there is not for me, and I am not for them. There will be a lot of things about me that maybe I just can't give you based on my natures. And when we talk about nature, we're talking about natural behaviors, authentic. It's just what you do. It's you, There are some people out there, they are earth natures, and they take care of people. They're very hospitable. They're always giving. These are the people that are most likely to give you something free versus, charging you a fee for it or charging you something for the item. These individuals, they give stability, structure, and foundation to everything that they do, So, these individuals are probably most likely to give you a couch to sleep on when you're homeless. These individuals are probably the most likeliest to give you a bed, in an empty bedroom. They might let you stay with them, they're just givers, And then it's in some people's nature not to give. They don't give usually. And it's not a bad thing because, giving to everybody is not always necessarily healthy, because you can become a person's crutch, if you're always helping them. If you're always bailing them out, well, now you've become a person that has given them basically a crutch to stand on, which is you. And is it fair to you? It's not, and it's in some people's nature to say, no, fuck no, get a fucking job. Go get a fucking job, just like I do. Go get a fucking job, just like everybody else does. And hey, life will be fine. That's probably going to come from a fire-natured person. They're going to be very direct. And sometimes people do need, a message to be very direct, whether it hurts their feelings or not. And the best people to do this would be a Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius, because the truth is, they don't live in the world through their feelings and emotions. Only the people that are closest to them will see that's this side of them. But at the end of the day, they don't give a fuck. Like they just told you what it is. It is what it is. So, I understand the behaviors of people, the natures of people. So when I started using constellation mapping in order to date, I am a born Scorpio. And as a born Scorpio, Scorpios are supposed to be with Virgos. And if you're a Virgo out there, and if you're a Scorpio out there, chances are there's a very strong chance that you already have or have had a friend, a cousin, but an uncle, an auntie, a mother, a father that was one of these two natures, and you love them. Like you have this beautiful relationship with them that you don't necessarily experience with everybody else that you might be friends with or you might be quote unquote close to. And I am the foundation of a Capricorn. My mother is a Capricorn, and since I teach men that they are the exact replicas of their mothers, all of a man's behaviors are always going to begin with his mother. Being with me is like being with the Capricorn. I am extremely rooted, I am extremely grounded, and I am extremely structured. Even the tattoos on my body are structured. They're placed specifically, and they kind of like have a meaning, and it kind of all goes together. So, the Capricorn is made for the Pisces. Capricorn is a earth nature, and the Pisces is a water nature. And when we look into real life, we look into reality, we know that water has to be held by something. Any type of liquid has to be held by something. If not, it's all over the place. And if it's all over the place, well, it's destructive. And what good is it to you? And what good is it to itself? So when we look out into, the world, we see that the only element that can hold water is earth. And, when we take water and we put it in the same cup with fire, the water's not being held. The temperature's being changed, and eventually the water will evaporate, or the water will cancel out the fire. And if you take water and you put it in the same area with air, well, the water's going to get blown all over the place like a hurricane. And that is going to cause destructions and floods. And when you find yourself a water nature person and you're in a relationship with a person that's a fire nature, there's a reason why you feel the way that you feel. It's not that there's anything wrong with the person that you're dating. It's just you're not supposed to be with them. Their behaviors are not going to agree with your behaviors, and therefore it's going to cause conflict. For instance, and this would be like the Boyfriend Chronicles. I briefly, this is probably the shortest relationship I've ever been in. Dating this guy. Should I say his name? His name is Rod. If he's watching, then he'll know exactly who I'm talking about, and I really don't care because maybe you need to hear it. Rod just so happened to have been a fire nature. I don't know specifically which one, but I know he was an Aries. He was born Aries. And his mother, and this is before I even started studying constellation mapping, but his mother is a fire nature as well. I'm not sure which one specifically, but she's either an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius. So when we dissect my ex Rod, he is a pure fire-natured man. So this means that the only behaviors that's going to come from him are going to come from fire nature. And so, once again, I am a water nature, sensitive and emotional, like water. You tap the surface and you get ripples. just about anything. You lightly touch the water with a feather, and you're gonna get a reaction out of the water. And so that's why people that are Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, these individuals are very sensitive and emotional, like water. And so I'm also an earth-natured man. I'm about the foundation of who I am. And we got to remember, all things have a foundation. Nothing that exists does not have a foundation. Whether you see the foundation or not, the foundation is there. And so all relationships should have a foundation. But most relationships don't have a foundation, and therefore, like a house, it falls. And so I am a part of a Capricorn nature, so I'm rooted, I'm grounded, I'm structured, I'm strong, I'm tough, I'm a giver. I give and 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 I give. And people that are Capricorns, Tauruses, and Virgos, they're all going to say the same thing. They're going to say, Tony, I give and I give and I give and I give, and I never get back what I give. And I understand it. I understand it. But unfortunately, God created the earth to give. God created the earth to be strong. And so therefore, we are ruled and bound to these behaviors, no matter if we want to or not. And when we stop, that's when karma happens. And, we'll talk about karma one day, because karma is not what a lot of people think it is. It's you have to come to this session about karma with a really open mind. But, once you hear the presentation, it'll make sense. So, I understand that, I'm very sensitive, I'm very emotional, but I'm also very strong. So even though you may have hurt my feelings, even though you may have said something that made me feel some type of way, you're never going to know, because you're not going to see it. I can be just as cool and just as calm, collected, and you'll never know unless I tell you. But that's just within my nature. A fire-natured person like my ex, Rod, it's not in his nature to hold back. It's not in his nature to conceal. It's not in his nature to hide. When have you ever seen the fire hide? The fire is out there, it's open, it's hot, it's, doing a lot, righteously burning shit down. And so these individuals that have these natures, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, they tend to have very explosive natures. Now, I know somebody's gonna probably out there and say, oh, well, Tony, I'm an Aries and I'm cool, calm, and collected. And then the next question I'm gonna ask you is, okay, well, what's your mother? Like, what's her energy? What's going on with her? Because she's the foundation of really all your behaviors. And then, when they answer the question, I'll come to find out that his mother's a Taurus. Well, yeah, of course. If your mother's a Taurus and you're born Aries, of course you're not going to have the same behaviors as a true Aries, because you have your mother's nature, which is rooted, grounded, and structured, pulling you back. It's that thing that keeps you from going over the deep end. Now, people that don't have an earth nature within them, and they only have they only have fire and air, or fire and fire, they're not going to experience anything to hold them back. They're just what we would call in the streets, they're going to pop off. They're going to pop off, and some shit is going to happen. And he was this way. He was this way. He's ready to fight at the drop of a fucking hat. He was very vocal, very, 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 very vocal. See, like me, I tend to watch what I say. I tend to consider your feelings and emotions when I'm talking to you. And so when I talk to you, I'm very a very gentle, very low toned, not raising my voice, and I would never call you outside of your name. Him, on the other hand, it was quite the opposite, quite the opposite. And I get it now because it's in his nature to be that way. At the time, I didn't get it. At the time, I was like, whew, this guy is crazy as fuck. But, and I remember when we would I was having a discussion. He was having an argument. That's the way I felt. And so, I'll be calm, cool, collected, hey, let's just sit down and talk about it. And his voice would be like up here, and he'd be cursing and, just very conflicting. And it always made me feel uncomfortable. And it was just too much. It was too much for me. And of course, Rod also is not, let me just say that, is not a fully functional man. He has a lot of trauma in his life, and he has not found resolve with that trauma. And until he finds resolve with that trauma, he's going to continue to be the person that he is. Now, is Rod a beautiful man? Rod's a beautiful man. Beautiful, beautiful. I mean, he's handsome as all outdoors. Of course he is. I would have never dated him if he wasn't, handsome. And one thing I loved about Rod is he was always good with kids. People that are fire natures, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, they tend to be really good with kids, especially Leos. Leos are really, really great with kids. And they love children because, they're children themselves. Most people that are fire-natured, these individuals have very childlike natures. So usually life is about having fun, and they know how to have fun. If you want to have fun, you take your Aries, you take your Leo, or you take your Sagittarius, because you're going to turn up for sure. But if you guys want to know more about constellation mapping, because I got to go. I got to go to work. But if you guys want to know more about constellation mapping, constellation dating, follow me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at I am Tony215. Follow me on Facebook, I am Tony215. And follow me here on Instagram, I am Tony215. And I appreciate everybody that watched. And I'm quite sure most of you are probably going to watch later, hopefully. Leave a comment. And I will be doing, more live. And if you want to schedule a live session, by all means, I'm always open for doing that. Okay. I'm going to stay on a little bit longer because people are sending questions. So, this is SECRE.T28 Scorpio. He's asking, so I guess Scorpio don't have fun. Look, everybody has fun, but it's in the natures of people to define what that fun is and what it looks like. I'm not saying that, we can't all indulge in, the same activities, but, Scorpios are very laid back. They're very chill. They're very easygoing, so like in a social structure, most likely they're probably gonna be the ones, they're dressed nice and shit, but they're gonna be like the real sexy ones, and they're probably gonna be like just like sitting down, probably by themselves or some shit, drinking, sipping, watching other people, and that is fun for them. They don't necessarily have to be out there in the crowd. I'm not saying that, Scorpios don't do that, but I'm just saying they don't have to be out in the crowd, dancing, doing the most, that's not necessarily their, definition of fun. Fun would be just being in good presence with good people with good energy. That would be fun. For a fire-natured person, they're gonna want to move and go here and go there like a fire. Fire doesn't just burn straight; it burns everything. So, and let people know a Scorpio are not demons and devils. I don't know why people think that. Okay. No, Scorpios are not demons and they are not devils. People just don't understand the nature of a Scorpio. Nature of a Scorpio is a water nature. It's a masculine water nature. And it moves like the water. It has the same behaviors as water would have, but just in a masculine way. They're very sensitive. They're very emotional. They need to be held. They need to be held in life. Chances are people that probably see Scorpios as demons and warlocks are probably going to be people that are fire-natured and air-natured. These natures are conflicting to the water. So a person that has a water nature in them, and we're just talking about pure water nature, because you got to remember, men have two natures. Women have two natures, but they all share a universal nature, which we call Mother Nature. This is what makes a mother. This is what makes a woman a mother, and it goes all across the board. No matter what her nature is. But men, we're talking about men here. People that, and we're talking about just a pure water nature Scorpio. And let's just say we're talking about a pure air nature person that is a Libra. No, I won't even use a Libra. I'm going to use a Gemini. So we're talking about a Scorpio, right? And a Gemini. Well, one is water and one is air. And air doesn't move like the water, and the water doesn't move like the air. They don't move. They don't behave the same way. They don't react the same way, and they each respectively have different needs. The air doesn't need to be held, but the water needs to be held. Well, how can these two individuals date each other? They're going to cancel each other out. They're going to cause chaos to each other because one needs to be held and the other one's always on the go and the move. And it's, it's not meant to hold. Air doesn't hold water. The only thing that holds water is earth. So a person that is a water natured person and they want to have the best chance of having a good relationship, monogamous relationship with another human being, they need to find a person that possesses an earth nature. It can be a Capricorn, it could be a Taurus, and it could be a Virgo, but the Virgo is going to feel better. The Virgo is going to feel the best. Anybody got any other questions? Got a lot of people waving here. Vic, it's 13. How are you doing, sir? Anybody want to come on live before I get off? You're more than welcome. What's that? QPEDD 14. How are you doing, sir? Karma Boy 02. How are you? What's this? Kish Awati. KISHAWTY. How are you doing? T_01989. How are you? I did a live on Sunday and somehow it got erased. I was really bummed by that because I thought it was a really good session of relationship therapy. But this isn't relationship therapy. But anyways, Oh, Cupid 14. That okay, so QPEDD 14 it is translated into Cupid CUPID 14. Okay. I'm slow. Maybe it's me. Cool Peep 301. What's up? How are you? I hope to God that I don't erase this. Is it appropriate to ask someone about their career on the first date for safety reasons? What if they're doing something illegal? Okay. And this is coming from time.space-traveler. Time.space.traveler. So, how do I feel about a person asking me what I do on the first date? I'm going to be completely honest with you. I hate that question. Like, no. I mean, you can ask me whatever question you want. And if you ask me that question, I'll gladly answer it. But not on the first date. I don't think what I do as a profession, how much money I make, sizing me up. I don't think that needs to be like the first question that you ask. The truth is, I was gonna come on earlier and I was gonna talk about the four main questions that you should ask a person before dating them. So I'm gonna list them right here and right now. So if you're live, you caught it. If you didn't catch it, hey, So the four main questions that you would want to ask a man before you want to know what his name is, before you want to know where he lives, before you want to know what he does as a living, you want to know, number one, drum roll. You want to know what his mother is. I mean, you want to know I want to know your mother's nature. Because your mother nature rules you. It's the foundation of who you are. It's the beginning of who you are. Whether she raised you, whether she put you up for adoption, doesn't matter. You are still the exact replica of your. Whether you love her or hate her, doesn't matter. You are still the exact replica of your mother. So I want to know, hey, what's your mother? Now, of course, that's a weird question. And I know a lot of men, when I ask that question, they kind of like, whoa, why do you want to know about my mother? And honestly, I don't really see a problem with the question because it's not, I'm asking you for your mother's social security number. Like what could I possibly do to you or your mother with knowing her birthday? And why wouldn't I want to know the man that I'm potentially probably gonna love? Why would I not want to know what his mother's birthday is? Like I would want to celebrate her birthday just as well as I celebrate my own mother's birthday. So I want to know what you are. I want to know what your mother is. Then the next question I want to know is, what are you? What are you? Are you an Aries, a Leo, Sagittarius? Are you an Aquarius, a Gemini, a Libra? Now, are you a Virgo? And are you a Capricorn? Taurus. Only thing between the Taurus and the Scorpio nature is just sex. That's it. The sex would be great, and that'll be it. If you're, chances are maybe you're a Taurus out there, and you may have experienced a man that had the Scorpio nature within them, and you probably found that it was just sex, if you were paying attention. So, yeah. So like I say, then the next question I want to know is, how was your childhood? Because, like I told you before, all things have a foundation. Everything has a foundation. And also, the foundation of who all people are is the childhood. And if you had a good childhood, chances are you're going to be a really functional person in life. You'll have very functional behaviors. Wait, we got keeping up with Chris. Okay, well, I don't know. Chris, I think he has Metro PCS, and we all know about Metro PCS. Not the greatest service in the world. He's probably going to hate me for that comment. But after you ask, man, he broke my energy. After you ask about the childhood, the last question, probably the most important question, if you're a man or if you're a woman and you're seeking to date a man, the most important question that you want to know and you want to ask, do you love your mother? Do you have a good relationship with your mother? Do you love your mother? Because if a man does not love his mother, then it's going to be a lot of unnecessary difficulties. I know that to be very true because I've dated a lot of men that had issues with their mothers, and yeah, wasn't pleasant. Does he love his mother? It's very important, very important. I mean, those are the four main questions that you should ask a man if you're seeking to date him. This gives me great insight to who he is. Not who he is upon the earth, because as I teach, character is built here upon the earth, but character does not define who you truly are. The only thing that defines who we are is nature. Nature is defined through the constellations, and the constellations are defined through God. But until then, people, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for watching, and I love you. Peace. Hopefully you learned something.